Hey, what's good? Fear of the Walking Dead fans. This is the Campfire Crew, and we're here to talk about Season 2, Episode 7. This is the mid-season finale. This is our second recording. We recorded this yesterday, but I'm a noob, and I effed it up. So we're here redoing it. So we're going to rehash the same conversation that me and Nate had yesterday. I'm Campfire Nate. No, I'm not Campfire Nate.
He's Confire Nate and I'm Confire Rich. Since we did
Yeah,
it already again, we're gonna mix this thing up and
yeah, let's
act
just switch roles.
but no, I'm Confire Nate. And yeah, this is we're gonna try to make this not as boring as it was the first time to each other. We're gonna try to make it even more exciting and talk about new things. We'll see what happens.
All right.
But favorite moment number one, and that's the aftermath of the death of Thomas Abigail. Now, it's kind of interesting because it all took place at one time. Strand was supposed to take the poison. They were supposed to go out, Romeo and Juliet or Romeo and Romeo style, and it didn't work. So he shot him and put him down for good. So he didn't come back. And Celia's pissed. She's pissed about it. The sound awakens everyone. Okay, it's loud. It makes everyone kind of wake up and say, "What the crap is going on?" Chris runs off because he's weird. And there's all kinds of other interesting things going on, but yeah, it kind of sets up what's going to happen this episode.
Yeah, it was kind of like the catalyst. It already seemed like a fragile situation already, and then that just kind of tipped the scales over for everything to kind of break loose and happen. You had Daniel having these weird dreams, double dreams, and things like that. Because when his daughter started pulling skin off her face, I was just like, oh, he's dreaming again. So he's freaking out, seeing all this weird stuff. And the only fake Strand, Ben and Strand just seem... I'm ready to get Victor Strand back to what Victor Strand was in the first couple of, episodes. Like, he's all, like, mopey and, like, getting smacked around and unsure of himself. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to favorite moment number 2 here. And this is Daniel. He's having these flashbacks. We saw the flashbacks when he was... had the kid by the throat. Turns out he was a little kid. Don't know what the deal is with his past. I was interested in this until this episode because it doesn't look like it means anything. I thought his flashback might actually mean we might run into some of the people he dealt with in his younger days. Turns out it just kind of shows his mind and where he's at and what he's thinking about, which plays into some of these visions that he's going to have later on this episode.
Yeah, it was interesting. He's such an interesting character because he's got this really interesting backstory that we haven't really gotten a whole lot of information on. It's obvious this guy, as a kid, had to deal with some serious stuff, some serious trauma. And eventually he's had to go on to, depending on where he was and whatever situation he was in, he's killed a lot of people. So these ghosts of his past are affecting him, and for whatever reason, this place, because of maybe it's, whatever Celia's got going on, he feels like this place is bad. Like it is evil, and all this bad mojo is literally affecting him really, really deeply. And that's kind of, it's kind of put him into like a situation we haven't seen him for, which is erratic. Up until this point, he's been very controlled. He knows what to do. Here's the deal. Daniel's here. Daniel's there. Protect this, do that. Now he's in like an erratic state, and it's something different we haven't seen. So it's pretty interesting. Moving on to number 3, and that is that Travis goes after Chris. Apparently he goes after him in flip-flops and causes all kind of damage to his feet. And that, luckily enough, he runs across a guy that's willing to give him some shoes, so that works out good. But the interesting thing about this is when he gets there, Chris has gone full crazy mode. Okay, Chris is not only like threatening people who is kind of his like surrogate family, he's threatening some random kid. In that moment, I was just like, what the crap, Chris? You've gone full blown off the deep end.
Yeah, he's off the reservation, man.
And then he fights, then his dad like tags him, and he's like fighting his dad. I mean, he looked in that moment like he was like, he just saw black. Like he was about to just like kill his dad. And I mean, I'm glad that the way they made it out was that Travis handled him pretty easily. You know what I'm saying? Like it was still a little fight, but it wasn't like
you don't mess with daddy. I don't care who you are, man.
Right. Travis took Chris and kind of smacked him around, and maybe that's what he needs. maybe he just needs some good old fashioned butt whooping to just straighten him out.
I don't know, man. I was confused about his feet, man. Look, man, there's people who run around barefooted in the woods all the time. Their feet still don't look like that. And this is in the desert and in the forest. This fool's just running across some fields.
I mean, apparently there's broken glass everywhere.
He was when he pulled it off, I was like, what in the world did he do? I tell you what, when he tracked the sun down, he wasn't limping in when he hunted him down. But I was kind of shocked when he went in there and Chris had a gun in the boy's head. I was like, get rid of this dude. Anyway, move on to favorite moment number 4. Nick, hey, covered in blood. Nick's always covered in blood. Anytime he gets opportunity, like he is going to volunteer. He just like, I'll do it. Give me the bucket of blood. I'm out. So he brings back Luis. He's buying into Celia's, I don't know, the story she's telling, her beliefs, where he sympathizes almost with the walkers, and he doesn't view them as infected, and he's kind of taking their side. I'm not a fan, of Nick taking that route, because I couldn't wait for him to get off his drugs and off the mindset he had when he was on them. I liked where he was going. Now he's like he's replaced that drug with spending time with walkers, and he's getting weird again. But anyway, Chris is out covered in blood. He does it. He tells Madison, "Don't worry about me. I'll go get Travis." After he gets cleaned off, so he can put blood back on his body and go back out and hunt Travis down. But that was Nick's story. Again, anytime I see Nick in here doing stuff, I do enjoy seeing him on screen.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Nick, I don't know if it's so much that he's just fully like buying in to everything that Celia's saying. He gets a different dynamic from Madison. She kind of still treats him like he's damaged, like this
true.
like druggy person, and him being able to cover himself in blood and move through this world, it makes him feel empowered. Like he feels strong, and his mom is condemning that. So he's got his mom who still sees him as weak. He feels strong now. Like he feels like he's past
invincible. He even said, he says invisible, right. But he's right. Like, I know I'm not going to die.
Right, exactly. He feels that empowerment, and his mom's trying to like bring him down, basically, And I think that's the real like underlying feeling that's going on with him. Like he doesn't like that. He's ready to be that strong person, and right now it's just not. She's not helping him. She's been an enabler with his drug habit and all this kind of stuff, and she's not being the mom he needs. And Celia sees that and is able to manipulate that to a degree, but I don't know how much of this is actually on Celia or how much of this is already just because of everything that's happened with Nick up to this moment. But moving on to number 5, and that was when Madison just decides, you know what? I don't like competition. I'm going to eliminate the competition and just be done with it. And it's great the way it happens when she's talking with Celia and she tries to understand. She's like, I want to understand. And she's like, I'm going to show you all my walkers locked up. And she takes her down, walks in completely with her back turned, not thinking nothing of it. And she's like, I would do anything for my children. And Madison's like, clink, chick. Yep, me too.
Yep.
And I'm not going to lie to you. That moment, the look on Celia's face was kind of like, well done. It was funny because her look was almost like, yeah,
like that. This is my fate. I'll embrace it.
Yeah, like I don't think she actually believed Madison would do that, and the fact that she did, I kind of feel like she was actually almost kind of proud of her in that moment. Like, you are willing to do that much, and this kind of just unique look, but at the same time, she wasn't scared because she felt like, this is just the next step.
Yeah, so. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't think she's going to die. She doesn't think turning into a walker means death, even though. I don't know what happened to her. If she got ate to pieces, she might not be nothing left to turn into a walker. They might have just chowed down on her. But, I did like that scene, and it didn't dawn on me yesterday when we had this conversation. Is this the first kill for Madison for a human? I can't remember. I think she stabbed somebody on the boat, but they didn't really die. They tied him up. But they didn't really play up to the fact that she killed a person, and she... Like, it was such second nature. Like, you see where our group is going now. It's just kind of like, look, I'm sticking with my family. You're a threat. I'm going to lock this door. Even though she didn't technically pull the trigger. Or
she didn't pull the trigger, but she definitely put the gun with a loaded bullet in the hands of someone that does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
she all but killed her in this moment. And, yeah, I think it might be the first person who's not infected that she's been willing to do that to. You know what I'm saying? Like
And she
she
was
pretty much,
a threat. Like, it wasn't so much self defense, like
yeah,
it
yeah.
was and it wasn't. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. No qualms about it. I'm gonna lock you up. Get ate up. We dipping. Moving on to favorite moment number 6. Daniel, after he gets captured, gets uncaptured, burns the place to the ground. This is that whole weird scene where he's talking to his wife, and I guess it helps clear his mind and brings some resolution to him on the inside, because when he goes and he's just like, his wife comes out and she's like, I knew you would find me, and he's smiling and he's standing over top of fire. Nate, you said that he didn't die. I was thinking that he may have, because he was standing over fire. I mean, this dude roasted his nuts up because he was standing right over the middle of that. But you think he's alive?
Well, I initially watching it, I was like, yeah, I think he's dead. But you still kind of keep remembering, he's kind of a major character. If he dies, you would imagine they would show it, or at least show it in a way that made you think there's no way he's not dead. But it then turns out that he was on Fear, talking Fear afterwards, the guy actor that plays him, and with the executive producers, and they said that we will see him again. So we all know that could be.
I don't think it'll be a flashback. I don't know how much of a purpose a flashback for him would.
I don't know
be.
he feels like he feels like a character that
Could survive.
It could survive that. Like, he was doing that, and he could have very easily just turned around and walked out.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And shut the gate and walked away. Like, it wasn't like the gate was locked. It wasn't like there was nowhere for him to go. And the moment we saw him was just like he was fully burning away the ghosts of his past.
Right.
And I would not be surprised if he doesn't just show up in the premiere like right off the bat. Like he's just there walking around. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think it's supposed to make us think maybe he did die. But I feel like this character is too big of a deal for him to die. This early, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, and I hope you're right. I hope he doesn't go up. I know all the wine cellars and all the stuff they had in there that is what set everything ablaze that big was in the back part of the cellar. Luis from the group, not Luis from the TV show, but Daniel Salazar's little cousin, a guy we work with, he made that comment telling me that. So I was like, yeah, maybe Daniel just slipped out the back, and I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he'll catch up with Victor and them, but he's going to look for Ophelia, his daughter, because he ain't going to let her go if he's still alive.
Right. My biggest hope is that maybe Daniel finds Nick. Okay, like because Nick just seems to be wandering around that area. Daniel finds Nick, and then they go off to find Madison and Ophelia, or maybe they go off and find Travis. Honestly, I think Travis and Chris need to stay away for a while, because Chris is
they on their own. I don't think anybody's going to be looking for them anymore.
Chris needs some help. But moving on to the last moment. Okay, this is number 7. And that's basically what we've been talking about, and that's the split. Everyone goes their own way. Nick's mad at his mom, says he wants nothing to do with her. He's walking off into the bloody sunset by himself. You got Strand with Madison, Alicia and Ophelia. They drive off in the truck, and Travis is with Chris, needing to have some quality dad time, because he's failed as a father at this point. Like, he has really failed. And his kid is downright turning into a psychopath. So I think the question is, do you think there's anything Travis can do to set his kid right? Now, it's interesting because we've talked about this before, even when we were talking about with Alex, is it possible that we are seeing the creation of like
a nemesis later
villains,
on or something?
You know what I'm saying? Like the villains of these stories in some way, shape, or form. Like, could Alex be? Could Chris be? Because they have these moments that are dark, and then you kind of wonder if they're going to change. Do you think Chris is even capable at this point? I think if he got his head right and came back to the group, be like, guys, I'm sorry, I had a bad moment.
Look, let me tell you what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen to Chris. He's going to go out. He's going to go on a clear mission where he's got to clear everything. He's going to run into an old man in the woods with a goat, and they're going to teach him Hindu, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And he's going to come back
realize
with a staff,
that all
and
life
he's going to
is
be
precious.
like a monk. Going to be Monk Chris. That's what's going to happen.
Because
With
he's
that.
got long hair, they're going to shave it so that he just has the ball patch with the ponytail.
Yeah,
And he's
and
going
an
to be
arrow in front of his head. He can now become whatever that dude is.
He is the Avatar.
That guy. But anyway, now I do like the split. This midseason finale was good and bad. It definitely had stuff I didn't like. It could have been more suspenseful at the end. I mean, look, it was suspenseful for the fact that, Alicia screaming, getting the truck, the place is on fire. Travis and Chris is off doing their own thing now. But they had that scene where the walkers were coming up. Maybe they were being chased by the people from the villa or whatever. But you didn't really see that engagement. Like, I didn't feel the pressure, the threat of the walkers, like grabbing them and getting close to them. On the other hand, I do like that this might be the first really big step for this show, and that is we finally got separate storylines. They're away from the boat with Travis and Chris. Now it'll be interesting. When you go to that storyline, I feel like I'm going to be interested to see who they encounter, what their progression is. Nick's on his own. I'll be glad to see that. And then getting back to Victor and them, or they're going back to the boat. So, and then if Daniel's alive. So I like seeing the different storylines because it breaks up the monotony of being in the same place every episode dealing with similar issues.
Yeah, the split definitely has me more excited for these next 8 episodes, which won't come out, I think, until like August 21st. It'll lead up again, of course, into Walking Dead. So I'm really excited, more so now than probably I have been, because the way they split it up, it opens up a lot of possibilities, and I'm really excited for it.
Yep. Hopefully, it takes a turn for the better. I feel like the show's been progressively getting better, and then there's nuggets coming from each episode and stuff that it's like, hey, you know what? I kind of dig that. And I think moving forward, hopefully this was the turning point where every episode's like, man, I want to see what happens. But anyway, guys, those were our favorite moments. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Did you like it? Yada, yada, yada. Hey, drop a like on this video. It really helps us out. Leave a comment, engage with us. We have a Facebook group where we talk about this stuff, among other things. You can join that. The link for that will be down in the description below. And until next time, we out.
See ya.